Hey guys, how you going? My name is Dom, and in today's video we're going to be having a look at sending JSON data over WebSockets. Okay, so sending JSON is a highly convenient way to send data between the client side or the web browser and the WebSockets server. And the reason for that is because, of course, you're dealing with JavaScript most likely on either side. Of course, in the browser, it's going to be JavaScript when connecting to the server side, but of course, maybe your server side might be a different language, but at the end of the day, JavaScript is going to be working well with JSON. So it's highly convenient and easy way to send data between the client and the server. So let's jump right into actually sending over that JSON. Okay, so inside the text editor right here, I've got this index.html file. It's actually this file right here. Now, as we can see, I'm simply connecting to a WebSocket server on port 8082. Okay, and inside here, I'm just saying once we open the connection, I want to do nothing just for now. Of course, very shortly, we'll be sending JSON from inside here. But I want to show you the current setup. Okay, so for the server side, I've got this Node.js WebSockets server. As we can see right here, inside the server directory, I've got this index.js file. So we are simply opening a WebSocket server on port 8082. And as we can see, once we have a client connection, we're going to then listen for a message and simply log out what the client is sending us. Okay, so if you're unfamiliar with this syntax, I recommend you watch my previous video on the basics of using WebSockets. Okay, so anyway, let's jump into actually sending some JSON data. Okay, so let's go inside the index.html, and inside the open event, I'm going to simply say ws.send and pass through here. For example, let's just pass through dcode as a string. Okay, and now I'm going to start up the WebSocket server by saying node index.js from within my server directory. So now when I refresh this page, it's going to send through the string dcode, and we should see it inside the console just down here. Okay, so that's working perfectly fine. So now let's send some JSON. So in order to send JSON, it's really easy. You simply say inside here, instead of sending through the string, I'm going to say JSON in all capitals, and I'm going to be saying .stringify, okay, and pass through here the object or the array which I want to send to the server side. So for example, I can say right here, a new object, and I can say, let's just say this is some sort of multiplayer game. So I'm going to be sending through an X and Y coordinate of my player. So I can say right here, X is equal to, let's just say 254, for example, and we can say Y can be 100. Okay, so now if I save this and refresh the browser, we should see in the console a JSON string of our data. So let's refresh here, and we can now go back inside the console. We can see right here we get X 254 and Y 100 in the form of a JSON string. Now, this works because JSON is simply just a string. It is a JavaScript object converted to a string. So that's why it works really easily. Okay, so what about actually, converting this string right here that was received from the server back into a JavaScript object? Also really easy. So let's go to the server side, and we're going to be capturing this message, and we're going to be saying here, instead of just message, we're going to say JSON.parse and pass through here our string. So this parse method takes a JSON string and it converts it back into a JavaScript native object. Okay, so if I was to now restart the server, just like this, and then refresh the browser, we can see right here in the console, we get the actual object, which is now printed slightly differently. So this one right here is a native JavaScript object. I can then say, for example, let's just say console.log. Actually, you know what? Let's store this right here in a variable. So let's just say const data. Const data is equal to JSON.parse message, and then we can say, for example, console log. and we can say data.x and also data.y, for example, to just print out both the x and y value. Let's restart the server and then try it again. And now, back inside the console, we can see we get right here 254 and 100. So we've successfully converted our JSON string back into a native JavaScript object. So you can probably stop right here and be done. However, there is one major issue with this solution, and that is this right here. Let's go back inside the browser and let's pretend I'm a user of your website. I also, study web development. I know a few things about how this stuff works. So I'm going to go inside the console and I'm going to say ws.send and then pass through here something like, hey, how's it going? Okay, just like this. Now, if I send this across to your server, which I did, and now go back inside here, we can see, unfortunately, the server side has crashed because our JSON.parse has thrown an exception. It could not parse the string. Okay, so we can see right here we get unexpected token H in JSON position 0. Okay, so like I said, this right here is thrown an exception and it has crashed our application. So how do we fix this? It's really easy. Okay, you simply wrap this right here inside a try catch. So we can say try, just like this, and then pass through here all of this stuff. Okay, then we can say catch, get our error object, so E. Then we can say, console.log, something like, something went wrong with the message, and we can just print out e.message, and of course e.message describes what happened with the error. Okay, so now if the JSON.parse throws an error, like it just did, it is now going to go inside here and the application or the server is not going to crash. Okay, so let's try it again. Run the server, go back inside the browser. As we can see, we get the initial X and Y as we sent through at the very start. But now, if I was to pass through here, for example, the exact same string and press enter, we can see now the server does not crash, but instead we get right here something went wrong, and of course the message. So that is probably what you want to do when sending through JSON, and that is going to cover the major issue there. When the data isn't actually JSON, how's it going to parse it? But there is actually a few more things to think about when sending through JSON data, and that is the format of your data. Okay, so I'm going to be covering, different ways and formats to send through JSON in my next video. But for now, that is something to consider. Just make sure you actually try catch when you're parsing through your JSON data. And that's it. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you later.